position, just whatever your legs and hips want to do today. So with our tailbone rested, our spine grows tall, our shoulders relax. Let's gather in some deep breaths from the nose towards the belly, and then relax the breath back out of the belly, back out of our nose. Find a little length in our spine as we inhale. Shoulders, hips rest as we exhale. Just a moment to breathe. Resting an ear to the shoulder, letting the side of the neck open. Stretching tall, then releasing towards the other side. Stretching tall, let's slide our shoulder blades up and down a few times. With our shoulders resting, let's open the palms and inhale fingertips towards the sky. Join the palms and exhale thumbs down to the heart. Inhale, open and reach. Exhaling, lower. Find one more breath. Inhale, open, toss. Exhaling down. And from here, we're going to push the palms up to the side. Shoulders resting, but actively open the upper arms and push through the palms. Now we're going to make some circles. And any movement, range of motion doesn't have to be big, but still trying to activate the upper arm muscle. You can stay in this circling movement or you can trade. We're going to push the fingertips up to the sky. Interlace the palms, feeling the palms growing tall and the tailbone pressing down and breathe. With our shoulders resting, arms pressed to one side, tailbone and the shoulders pull away from each other. Let's find neutral, reaching tall and then stretching towards the other side. Find neutral, reaching tall, twisting, let the arms relax to one side. Finding length, maybe twisting deeper as we breathe. Returning to neutral, inhaling, reaching tall. Exhaling towards the other side. Finding length and rotation through the spine as we breathe. We'll come back to center. Inhale, lifting the ribs. And exhale, thumbs down into the heart. Helping our bodies to all fours. Let's find rest under shoulders, knees under hips. Lower belly finds a neutral spine. Inhaling, guiding our heart forward as we open a cow. Exhaling, pulling the heart to the sky as we fold in the cat. And then allowing any range of motion, any pace of movement, maybe our breath, eyes is open and back, finding a little release as we breathe. We're welcome to continue the cat and cow flow. We're welcome to start a neutral spine and fold side to side, shoulders and hips, finding, folding and releasing as we breathe. Just few relaxing exhales. Find neutral spine extending through the right heel. Really thinking about the back of the head, the back of the hips, the back of the heel, pulling away from each other. As we lift through the rib cage, sending the left fingertips forward, finding stability as the arm, leg, opposite arm and leg, pull in opposite direction, finding that length as we breathe. Let's relax down and trade. Extending through the left heel. Feel the engagement through the torso as we stretch through those right fingertips and breathe. And then release. Now we're going to allow that body to flow. So maybe inhale, opposite arm, opposite leg, and then exhale it down. Trading sides. Inhaling, opposite arm, opposite leg, exhaling down. And then letting our breath guide the movement, or if you'd rather hang out for a few breaths on one side, we can, and then trade towards the other side. Choosing what our body allows the best stretch and release of today. So reach into our breath. And one more each side. Anytime we find a little bit of evenness, we can all relax into child's pose. Finding release through our shoulders, through our ribs, our hips, finding rest into our spine. So maybe we enjoy stillness here. We can send both arms to one side, finding reach in our side body. Coming back to neutral and then over towards the other side, stretching through the side body. So find neutral, option to continue child's pose. Maybe we lift up to downward dog, sending our tailbone towards the sky, Lengthening through the back of the head, the back of the hips. Option to have knees bent or legs straight, or maybe we get a little bit of movement. Pulling one thigh towards the ribs, the other thigh towards the back of the room. Taking a moment to breathe, a little stretch into our breath. Sending feet up to our hands, finding rest in any variation of a forward fold. Fingertips can be on the ground, shin or thighs. Finding space so that our head and neck might find a little up and down movement. A little bit of side to side movement. A little bit up and down again. Let's inhale halfway. Find that length in the spine, option to lengthen the legs. Pushing through the heels. Let's inhale, lift up all the way, fingertips to the sky. Letting one arm pull taller, the other arm pulls taller. Finding that reach. Side to side and breathe. Now we're going to continue this movement, or you can keep one arm reaching to the sky and pull the other arm to the ground, but side body open. Then we can trade sides and send the other arm up, the other arm down. And then option to send the arm over the head, maybe bracing the hand at the hip, and then trading side. Now find neutral, lifting the heart. Exhaling, swan, diving down. Sending the right knee back behind us, relaxing the back knee and the toe. Hands on either side of the front leg, the inside, or wherever you're feeling stable. Let's inhale and guide our hips and our heart forward. And exhale, relax our hips and our thighs back. So we're welcome to stay, either option, or flow with our breath. Inhaling towards the lunge. Exhaling towards the half pyramid. Finding our body's range of motion, our body's pace of movement today, wherever we're at, our environment can find a little bit more release. Let's release wherever we're feeling good today. Stretch through the breath. And we can keep the movement flowing. We can find a place of stillness with our tall spine. Maybe our heart sinks towards our thighs, finding just a moment to release into our breath. With our inhale, pulling the heart forward, let's relax back to child's pose and find just a moment to rest. Options for stillness, options to flow forward through plank or kneeling plank. Take a moment to stabilize the spine. Collarbone, ribs, lower belly, we can exhale, elbows into the ribs. Inhale, open into the heart, squeezing and pressing it all the way back. Finding a moment to breathe. Get a few relaxing exhales. As we're ready, the right toes find their way forward into our lunge. Again, arms where we feel stable. Let our inhale send our hips and our heart forward. Let our exhale rest our hips and our thighs back. And then maybe we're flowing with our breath. Inhaling towards our lunge, exhaling towards our half pyramid, and maybe feeling that reach and release as we breathe, relaxing in to our breath. Again, we're welcome to keep the movement flowing. If you want a place of stillness for a few breaths, either option. Continuing with a tall spine, or maybe finding a little deeper release wherever our breath guides us today. Our inhales guiding our hips and heart forward. Let's send those back toes towards the front and release in our forward fold. Finding place of stability as our head and neck might find a little up and down movement, a little bit of side to side movement, a little bit up and down again. Let our inhale lift us halfway. Pushing through the heels, let's inhale and stretch up all the way. Exhaling, bounce down to the heart. So from here, we're going to step wide, maybe moving sideways on our mats, and then guiding our toes towards the corners, and then testing it out so that as our tailbone comes back, we notice the knees flowing in line with our toes and our hips. So with our arms in this 5-point star, we're going to lengthen them, inhale, exhale, send the elbows into the ribs. Do a few of these. Inhale, lengthening, exhale, folding in. So we can continue to move with the breath, or welcome to find any range of motion, any pace of movement. Keep activating through the outer hips to push the tailbone back. inner thighs pull the hips up. Now as we sink our tailbone down in variation of this wide stance, we're going to inhale fingertips to the sky. And then exhale, arms over to one side. Pull the ribs to the center. Pull the ribs to the other side. And back to the center. Back towards the other side. Back to the center. Back to the other side. So again, we can stay. That means you can do this with straight legs or a little less intensity depending on how our body is feeling. Just stretch side to side and breathe. Now we're going to end up stretching on one side, maybe the bottom elbow rest as the top arm pulls over the head. Feeling maybe a little bit more relief in our tailbone, a little deeper intensity. And then we're going to trade sides. So the other elbow to the thigh, the other arm over the head. Feel that openness and reach in the side body as you breathe. Now as we come to center, inhaling fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hinging the heart forward. Feet hinging. Maybe we're finding parallel to stay. We can rest fingertips towards the ground. Option to lift the toes and bring them to parallel. Option to lengthen out the legs towards straight. And feel the body releasing this wide, standing shadow position. Releasing through our shoulders, our head and neck. Maybe finding that up and down movement. Maybe a little side to side movement. And a little up and down again. So the hands on the thighs or the floor. We have the option to send our ribs over towards one leg, finding that stretch in our side body. Back to neutral, over towards the other leg, feeling that stretch in our side body. Back to neutral, resting and releasing. Taking just a moment to breathe. So we inhale, let's lift up halfway, finding support. Push through the heels. Let's inhale, lift up all the way, fingertips to the sky. Exhaling, thumbs down to the heart. Bringing our heels under our heads in front of the mat. Opening our lungs as we inhale. Swan diving as we exhale. Sending our left toes behind us. That knee lowers or stays lifted. Maybe we're twisting towards the front thigh and expanding the chest. Returning to child's pose or downward dog. Maybe we find just a little bit of movement in our legs. Maybe we find a little bit of movement with our chest. Inhaling us to plank or kneeling plank. Take a moment to stabilize if we're in plank, sending the shoulders forward so our elbows can fold in with control. Inhaling and expanding into the heart, and then exhaling, sending it all the way back. Taking a moment to breathe. Letting our body find rest and relief. Helping the left foot find its way into lunge, that knee lifted or lowered. Option to twist towards the front thigh. And then releasing back, child's pose or downward dog. Just a moment to breathe. So we're going to have an option of a little bit of a flowing three-legged dog. So if that doesn't really feel like anything fun for you, you can hang out in child's pose or just traditional downward dog. Or we can inhale the right toes up to the sky, and also do this from all fours. And exhale the knee towards the nose. Do that a couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale folding in. Just one more time. Inhale up. Exhale folding in. Maybe we hold one breath. And then lower the foot into a lunge. Now the back heel, if your heel doesn't feel like a lunge is a good option, you can ground heel for warrior one. We're going to inhale and stretch the fingertips forward, hips and heart, reaching towards the front of the mat, and find length in the spine as we breathe. Now with our inhale, feel the heart stretching forward. And exhale, feel the arms reaching forward. Now we're going to inhale and send just one arm back, so we're twisting our ribs to one side. And then draw back forward. And then reach the other arm back, twisting towards the other side. And then Maybe one more on each side. Now, we're going to stretch the fingertips as far forward as they can go. You have the back heel up, option to pull the back thigh up and down a few times, or just rest the back knee on the ground and activate through the thigh and the hip. And we'll send the fingertips to the ground. Option to child's pose, downward dog, or front foot back up to the sky to three-legged dog. And then we're resting. Take a moment to relax. Child's pose, downward dog, any variation of rest we're feeling good about. Enjoying stillness or inhaling through plank or kneeling plank to stay. We can exhale with as much control as possible. Elbows to the ribs. Inhaling, expanding into the lungs. Exhaling it back. Let's breathe. Everybody, a few resting breaths. So same option from all fours, or that downward dog option, we can send left toes to the sky and stay, or left thigh towards the nose and back. Just a couple more times, holding and reaching. Keep breathing. And we'll help our body find our lunge position. The back heel can be up or down. Inhaling, hips and heart to the front of the room. Feel that strength through the spine and the breathe. Now as we inhale, send the heart to the sky. As we exhale, reaching forward. And maybe open one arm up to the side and then back forward. And then the other arm back and then forward. Just a couple more each side. Find that stretch and then release as we breathe. And we feel like evenness. Back knee up or down. Maybe we pull the thigh up and down a few times. And a little activation through the thigh and the hip. And then we'll rest. Back to child's pose, downward dog. Maybe the front foot returns to three-legged dog, wherever our body feels like stretching at the moment. Enjoying the stillness. Maybe we want to hang out in plank or kneeling plank. Maybe we want to find any flowing movement our body feels pretty good about today. And stillness breaths or moving breaths. And anytime we're ready to relax, taking just a moment to release into our exhales. So if we want to add just a little bit of flowing movement, we can. We can stay in stillness for a few breaths. If we want to add a little flowing movement, maybe from child's pose or downward dog, we inhale towards plank or kneeling plank, and then exhale back. If your wrists don't enjoy that, you can have forearms down and reach from the dolphin plank to the dolphin dog position, choosing any option our body agrees with at the moment. And anytime we feel okay about it, having the option for our right foot up to the sky to three-legged dog, and then find warrior two with our right toes reaching forward, right heel reaches down, and arms stretch out towards our feet and breathe. So with our shoulders resting, we're going to add a little rolling movement through our wrists, through our elbows, through our shoulders, continuing to relax into our breath. And we're welcome to roll in, maybe the back of the hands, just relax at the hips, maybe the forearms stack. We're welcome to interlace the fingers. Think about those shoulder blades squeezing back and the heart reaching forward. We can find stillness. We can add a little flow side to side, Shoulders towards one leg, shoulders towards the other leg. Find that stretch as we breathe. As we reach forward, option to hang out, option to rest the ribs on top of the thigh, option to sink the ribs with the hands resting at the hips, or inhaling fingertips towards the sky, any variation of a humble warrior, and breathe. At any time we're ready, we're finding the lunge of our choice, option to twist towards the front thigh, and then back to child's pose or downward dog. Finding a moment of relaxation. Maybe we're inhaling through plank or kneeling plank. Option to stay. Option to add any flowing movements our bodies are feeling good about. Finding stillness or movement. And releasing and resting for just a couple of breaths. So same flowing option on this side, enjoying stillness for just a few more breaths. Or letting our inhale pull us in to plank or kneeling plank. Exhaling us back, child's pose or downward dog. Again, we can stay on the wrist, or we can flow on the forearms from the knees up or back and breathe, whichever the body feels good about. Stillness is always a good option as we stretch through our breath. Now, we're feeling pretty good about it. Option for a three-legged dog, left toes stretching up to the sky, then finding our warrior two, left toes reaching forward, right heel sinking back, arms drawing towards our feet. So again, maybe rolling through our wrists, our elbows, our shoulders as we breathe. And then from here, we can rest, hands at the lower back, stack the forearms or maybe interlacing with the other thumb on top, shoulders squeezing back, spine tall. We can find that side-to-side movement, shoulders drawing towards one leg, shoulders drawing towards the other leg, feeling any movement our body feels good about today, and breathe. We can keep movement flowing. We can hang out with the chest forward or rotated or sinking inside. Hands at the hips are reaching towards the sky, finding any variation of humble warrior, and breathe. And we're resting fingertips to the ground, returning to the lunge of our choice, and maybe twisting towards the front thigh. And then we're reaching back, child's pose, downward dog, enjoying a place of stillness and rest. Maybe we're inhaling to plank or kneeling plank to hang out. We're welcome to add any flowing movements our bodies feel good about today. Let's breathe. And exhale. And wherever we're at, our feet have the option to come up into any variation of a forward fold. Fingertips on the ground, shins or thighs. Creating a moment of rest. We release our head and neck, maybe a little up and down, maybe a little side to side, maybe a little up and down again. Let our inhale pull us up halfway, and then stretches all the way up towards the sky. Maybe add a little floating movement as our shoulders, our ribs, our lower back release and breathe. Alright, so we're going to find a place for balance. Planting through one foot, squeezing up, thigh engages, knee joint softens, the other thigh forward or open. Let's squeeze it in, lift that around the palms, finding our focal point, toe on the ground or floating, foot to the calf, maybe in our thigh. Finding a moment of stability with the palms at the heart, or our palms to the sides, or our arms all the way up towards the sky. Feeling release and rest for a few relaxing breaths. we release, let's relax the joints a bit. Trading sides so the other foot feels the ground. Thigh engaged, knee joint softens, the other thigh forward or open. Let's squeeze it in and up. Feel the grounding. Finding our focal point. Choosing our foot positioning for stability. Choosing the arm positioning for stability wherever our body leads us today. Continuing to rest into our exhale. Relax here, maybe shake out our joints just a bit. We're moving to our body's variation of a dancer pose. Sending the other foot forward, the other foot back. Arms reaching in the direction of our legs. Squeezing in lower belly, inner thighs. The back toe can stay or float. Maybe we bend the knee. Maybe our foot finds our hand. Enjoying stillness here or inhaling. Find heart open. Feeling any expansion our body gives us today, and breathe, stretching through our breath. So ready for rest, relaxing that side, trading legs. The other foot stretching forward, the other foot back, arms in the direction of our legs. Squeeze it in. Front foot takes on the weight. Back knee can bend, or foot can find the hand. Maybe we inhale and find deeper openness in the lungs as we breathe. Rest that side, let's shift out our joints just a bit. Finding our way to the top of our mats, opening our lungs as we inhale, swan doggy. As we exhale, relaxing our shoulders, our head and neck, maybe a little flowing up and down movement with our head and shoulders, maybe a little release side to side, maybe a little up and down again. Then reaching either to all fours or downward dog. Maybe adding a little pedaling in our feet from the downward dog option. We're feeling like a pigeon today, having the option to send the right toes up to the sky, right knee up towards the right wrist. Back knee can relax. You prop up the hip or slide the toe back so the tailbone finds a little deeper release to the ground. Maybe we walk our hands in and find deep openness. Your front side body option to stay here. Option to start lowering, maybe on our palms, maybe on our elbows, maybe on our rib cage. Finding just a moment to relax through our breath. Finding release through our exhale. Just a moment of rest and release as we breathe. Be resting. feeling that deep expansion through the front side body as we breathe. So we're welcome to return where we came from, maybe folding back to all fours, downward dog, or three-legged dog, stretching through the spine. When we're ready to trade sides, the other leg can stretch up and pull that knee into our pigeon, finding the variation that our legs agree with, staying open and lifted into our lungs, or resting down, feeling a moment of release, finding release and rest with each breath. Just noticing the exhale, sending out any of our extra sensations, and relax through our breath. Our next inhale, sending our heart back open, expanding through the front side body as we breathe. Planting into our palms, the back toe, returning where we came from, all fours, down dog, three-legged dog. Finding a moment of release, maybe from downward dog, move our knees and hips a bit side to side. From all fours, we can fold the shoulders and hips back towards each other. Wherever we're at, we can keep our toes tucked and rest our knees. You can sink the hips towards the heels with the back of the foot stretching. We're going to have a few options here. First option is just hang out in this little variation of a child's pose. You can turn it into a rapid pose by sending the top of the head towards the ground and stretching our hands towards our feet, stimulating the nerves in the top of the head, folding in the chin, getting the body in this little seed rabbit position, little folding stretch. If you're a fan of headstand, you can do that here. It gives you similar stimulation in the top of the head, but just a lot more strain on your neck if you're not lifting through your core. You can also turn this into a broken toe pose by lifting the torso over the heels, adding more intensity and the stretch in the back of the feet. Option to just stay reaching fingertips to the ground, top of the head to the sky. You can send one arm up to the sky or over the head, stretching the side body as we stretch our feet. And maybe the other side, lengthening, reaching over. And wherever we're at, if you'd like to reach the palms forward and an all fours, you can pound the tops of the feet and get a little release out from that foot stretch. And we'll find ourselves with our heels stretching out ahead of us, rocking our tailbone just a bit side to side as we breathe. And from here, we're going to bend our knees, feeling the tailbone relax onto the ground. We're going to have a few options. So I'll start with the least intense and move to the most intense, and you can stay wherever you're feeling the best stretch. So we can stay toes on the ground, toes lifted, beginning to inhale and open the body, and exhale and fold away. So we can hang out here, a little least intense option. You can float the heel, keeping the knees bent. It does add a little bit more intensity to engage the core as we float back and forth. You can stay with bent knees and let go of the thighs. Or we can add extension, maybe a little bit further reach back and fold again. So any variation our bodies agree with today. Squeezing through those inner thighs, squeezing through that lower belly. We're activating all of those muscle groups, back the thighs, through the diaphragm, the entire core. Breathe. Now we're going to end up all lifting our knees Toes on the ground and shoulders stretching towards the thighs and relax into the breath. And with our inhale, lengthening our spine tall, we'll exhale to one side. Feel that turn and release through the spine as we breathe. We come to neutral and then lift the ribs, turning towards the other side and breathe. And coming back to the center, option to slide the elbows under the shoulders. If that doesn't feel good, you can have the palms under the shoulders, where we're squeezing those shoulder blades together to open up the collarbone. So the heels can stay on the ground. You can push one thigh in and out, the other thigh in and out. Just a little bit of movement, trying to activate through the hip flexors as we fold and reach. Now you can stay tapping the ground, or you can let both legs float and create more of a bicycling effect as you stretch back and forth and breathe. And we'll let both heels rest. Pull the spine back tall. Now we can rest shoulders towards the knees and relax. And with our spine lifted, sliding our toes to the front of our mat, making some space to release on our spine. We can relax through the ribs, all the way down to the shoulders, taking a moment to lengthen. Maybe the fingers stretch over the head or by the side, lengthening, maybe just through the back of the head, the back of the heels, or the fingers through the toes. Feeling rest through our shoulders, rest through our ribs, rest through our hips, relaxing just for a moment, and breathe. If you releasing exhales. We're welcome to continue here, and we found a good place to relax. We're welcome to slide to bridge pose, sending the heels towards the hips, the fingertips towards the heels as those shoulder blades fold in towards each other. Feeling the grounding in the shoulders, the forearms, and the feet, we can squeeze thighs, hips, and heart up towards the sky and find that expansion through the front side body. Lifting and opening with each inhale, bringing stability and strength with each exhale. Noticing the freedom in the neck and the head as the weight is in the shoulders, the forearms, and the feet. Finding just a few more deep breaths, any variation. Bridge pose our body allows today. A little rest into our exhales. We're going to send the spine down to the ground. Let our feet come wide for a moment. Option to add a few windshield wiper movements. Thighs drawing to one side, thighs drawing towards the other side. Finding that relaxation through the tailbone, the lower back, and breathe. Now we're welcome to continue the windshield wiper movements. We're welcome to return to maybe a different variation of bridge pose, or the same one, you can choose. So maybe we continue with our forearms on the ground as we inhale, thighs, hips, and heart to the sky. We can stack the hands under the hips and make a little kickstand with our elbows coming up into a little bit more elevated bridge. If your spine feels pretty relaxed today and you want to try wheel pose, you can send the palms by the ears and squeeze thighs, hips, and heart open to the wheel. So any variation of bridge or wheel, take just a couple of deep breaths. And wherever we're at, we're lowering shoulders, ribs, lower back, relaxing the arms, returning to that windshield wipering movement, thighs relaxing side to side, and breathe. Just a few resting exhales. Now from here, we have a few more options of movement. So you're welcome to stay in windshield wipering movements or just relax the knees together into a recovery pose. We can send our palms face down under our hips, pulling the toes up to the sky into a little variation of legs up the wall, without a wall. Toes can be pointed or heels can lengthen. Legs up the wall is a little mini inversion to help trade off the blood flow. If our neck is feeling pretty stable today, we feel strength through the upper body, and you enjoy shoulder stand and or plow. You can keep the body and the legs up the wall, or squeeze the belly and push the hips up to the sky, hands to the lower back into our shoulder stand. Again, being mindful that the weight is in the shoulders and upper arms, still finding that freedom in the head and the neck. So we can stay here, toes up to the sky, flexed or pointed, or if you're a fan of plow, you can send the toes over the head, squeeze those organs, get them stimulating a little bit more as we breathe. Or you can even do the ear pressing pose and send your knees towards your ears as you fold in a little deeper. Again, the weight in the shoulders, trying to release any pressure out of our neck and our head as we gaze to the sky. And we'll all relax, the tailbone to the ground, returning our feet wide, returning to the windshield wiper movements. Thighs drawing one side, thighs drawing towards the other side, creating just a little release side to side as we breathe. Now we can stay with the windshield wiper movements. We can stack knees over hips and flow, knees to one side, knees to the other side, finding just a little bit of twisting movement as we breathe. You can stay with twisting side to side with the knees, or you can think about your knees making big circles on the ceiling, rolling through that tailbone into the lower back. If we're circling, may we trade out the directions of our circles. An option to hug the thighs to the chest, enjoying stillness here as we rest and relax, the thighs in. Staying thighs to chest or widening, knees towards the shoulders, maybe finding happy baby of our choice, hands on thighs, hands on calves, or hands on feet. Getting a little bit of release, our spine in stillness, or adding that rocking movement side to side from wherever we're at. Just a moment to breathe and rest through our exhales. And pulling our thighs back together, shoulders pushing into the ground. We're going to pull the nose up towards the knee and create a small little ball, feeling the body folding in, squeezing through organs, stimulating the abdominals to work a little better today. And as our lower back spine rests on the ground, we're going to stay holding onto the right leg, push the left heel all the way out. So we're actively pulling the thighs away from each other for just a moment. As the left thigh relaxes to the ground, we can add a twist, sending the left hand over, exhaling the right thigh across our body, shoulders and hips holding away from each other. Taking a moment to breathe, feeling that relaxation through our lower back, through the ribs, through the shoulders, the neck, the back of the head. Finding rest and release through our exhales, just a moment to breathe. Find our way back to neutral, returning the thighs to the chest, rounding that spine for a bit, maybe being still, maybe rocking just a bit side to side here as we breathe. As we hold on to our left thigh, feeling that length of the right heel, pushing away, thighs actively stretching away from each other for a moment. And then we're going to add our twist. Right arm reaches over, letting the exhale guide the knee across our body, shoulders and hips. Relaxing here, finding any variation of this rotation that our body feels about the best about today. Creating relaxation and rest through each breath. Just a moment to relax our spine, the hips, shoulders. As we move our bodies back to neutral, returning the thighs to the chest, allowing stillness and rest, maybe rocking a bit side to side and breathe. So we can stay with this little side to side rocking movement. As our spine feels centered, we can feel the inhale, pull the thighs away from the body. The exhale, pull the thighs back in towards the body and create that open and releasing action. Send our hands to the knees, maybe make big circles, their knees on the ceiling. You stay holding on to the thighs, that feels better. Get a little bit of movement through the lower back, the ribs. Maybe trading out that direction just for a moment. Breathe. As our heels relax, having the option to keep our spine on the ground. We can return the hands to our hips for a fish pose. If you have a prop and you like restorative fish better, you can slide the prop under the shoulder blades. But without a prop, you can palms on the ground, squeeze elbows underneath the ribs and feel the top of the head rest on the ground as the ribs pull up towards the sky and lift the lungs. Knees can be bent or legs can be straight, or you can let the feet come together to butterfly wherever the torso still maintains openness as we breathe. You're welcome to stay in fish, or if you have a prop, restorative fish, as long as you feel comfortable. The arms can release at any time. Maybe sliding the soles of the feet together with the knees wide and letting the palms rest on the inner thighs, finding a little gravitational relaxation through our reclined butterfly, enjoying the stillness as the hips open, allowing a little relaxation or any extra sensations in the tailbone, the lower back. We're welcome to stay here if you want to do some what are called little mini windshield wiper movements. You can lift one knee up towards the sky, the other knee up towards the sky, rolling through the tailbone, the lower back. Finding any movement or enjoying stillness in the stretch. We're welcome to move into any other stretch our body is craving, just an extra release in today. We're welcome to find any place of stillness where our body can focus on our breathing. Maybe we're hanging out in our reclined butterfly. Maybe we're returning the feet to the sides of the mat, allowing our knees to fold in together into this recovery option. Maybe it feels better just lengthen out the legs, feet open, palms open, shoulders resting. Taking just a moment to breathe. Finding relaxation and finding rest. As we begin to send the breath from the nose all the way down to the belly. To relax the breath back out of the belly, back out of our nose. Finding that deep inhalation, finding that deep exhalation. Noticing the rest and the release through our body as we breathe. With our next inhale, maybe we're finding something about our body that we're especially thankful for today. Thankful for our arms, for keeping us lifted and strong. Thankful for our core, for supporting our spine. Thankful for our feet, ankles, for giving us a basic foundation as we balance and stand and stretch. Taking a moment to allow that moment of gratitude to flow through the body with each inhale, bringing joy and peace and relaxation. Allowing each exhale to push out anything our body just doesn't need today. So we allow more space for that joy, that peace, and gratefulness as we relax through the body. Each inhale finding rest. Each exhale allowing more space for peace. Sometimes when we find our body has moved into places that are new or unfamiliar, we find extra sensations that aren't most enjoyable. So we have to think about the things that we're very thankful for, to remind our bodies that everything is a growing and learning process. Some days it works, some days it doesn't work. As we begin to flow the breath into our fingers and our toes, we're welcome to enjoy stillness and rest. We're welcome to add some movements into the body, maybe wiggling through our fingers and our toes, breathing through the hands and the feet, maybe even relaxing the wrists and ankles into some small little circling movements. Guiding the breath through the lower legs, the lower arms, and even bending the knees, the elbows, relaxing through the thighs, the hips, the upper arms, and the shoulders. As we ground into the spine, finding a little relaxation. As we breathe through the tailbone, the lower back, the ribs, the shoulders, the head, the neck. If it feels comfortable, you're welcome to hug the thighs into the chest and rock a bit side to side. Just take a few relaxing breaths wherever our body is guiding us today. If it feels okay, we're welcome to rest over onto our side for just a few breaths, guiding the head and our hands or our upper arms as we pull in some calm and peace and relaxation through one side, pushing out anything we just don't need through the other side and down in towards the ground. Just a moment of rest and peace, a few relaxing breaths. Our next inhale, we'll pull our bodies up into a comfortable seated option wherever our body allows today. As our tailbone rests, our spine goes tall, our shoulders relax. As we open up our palms, we're welcome to inhale, fingers towards the sky. Exhaling, thumbs down into the heart. Inhaling, reaching open. Exhaling, resting down. Finding one more breath together. Inhale, lifting. Exhale.